So in Portland, Oregon, they decided to ban homeless people from camping. So I guess now it's going to be illegal for homeless people to sleep, which is, a great thing to be punished for.
Every day in Portland, Oregon's Multnomah County, more than 6,000 people are experiencing homelessness. Now, as calls from some residents and business owners to clear encampments intensify, the city has passed a law making camping during the daytime illegal and putting extensive new restrictions on nighttime camping.
These changes are vital to our community's ability to return to the vibrant place that we all love.
Okay, so instead of punishing these people for being homeless, how about the city helps these people get into housing? It's always funny the way people want to treat homeless people, and it's not with kindness, but with disdain.
The primary concern we hear from these small businesses is the lack of safety on the street, resulting in employees and customers not feeling safe coming into our district.
But the law's critics
Man, people always want to say that they feel safe around homeless people, but they don't feel safe around homeless people, but they also don't feel safe around people that are housed. So like, why don't we treat people that are housed the same way, ban them from doing things in public? It just doesn't make any sense.
worry that requiring people to pack up every morning will destabilize their lives further.
When we think of people having to pack up their belongings, their tent and all their clothes, to expect people to carry that around all day is just unrealistic.
This man has lived outside for 10 years.
Yeah, it would be like expecting somebody living in a house to like pack up their things on a daily basis and lug all that stuff around in order to, be compliant with the law.
He has asked not to be identified for his safety.
People won't be able to keep up with their property, and they'll end up losing some of the basic things that people need to live comfortably.
He says he has had trouble finding open shelter beds.
Some of the places have like about a 6-month waiting list. So that right there will leave people in a vulnerable place.
Those who repeatedly violate the law can face a $100 fine or up to 30 days in jail.
Uh, Being that there's not enough shelter beds, the law, U.S. law does allow for people to camp legally, as there's a few cases before where homeless people fought a camping ban. I think with the help of the ACLU, and if a city doesn't have enough shelter beds, people are legally allowed to camp. So people here should just get the help of the ACLU and bring down the hammer on Portland for the violations of these people's rights.
Legal advocates for the unhoused say those fines and the law's ambiguous overnight camping restrictions could help render it unconstitutional.
Here, instead of helping them after they've been forced to live outside, we are literally trying to either run them out of town or criminalize them.
It's not just in Oregon. After homelessness
Yeah, that's what everybody wants to do. They want to criminalize being homeless, which is just tyrannical and evil, in my opinion. Because how can you make it illegal to be homeless, but also allow the ability to attain a house become almost unimaginable?
rates fell nationally in the early 2010s, they started going up again, up 18% this year compared to last in the Washington, D.C. region, up 7% in the Phoenix area, and up a whopping 139% in Metro Louisville.
There's no place in this country, if you work a minimum wage job, that you can afford a 2-bedroom housing unit. And only 10% of the country can you afford a 1-bedroom unit making minimum wage.
Yeah, most people in the United States are one step to being homeless, and the laws that they support punishing homeless people will eventually be used to punish them.
Debates over whether cities should crack down on encampments are also bubbling up from coast to coast.
In many communities across this country, it's become illegal to be homeless.
Numerous studies now suggest criminalization is more expensive than providing people with housing. In California, one study predicts focusing on housing could save Orange County $42 million a year.
Yeah, it's been proven time and time again with the housing first policy. If you give people houses, well, they have a place to live, they can get jobs, and thus put money back into the community. And yeah, it's actually cheaper to give people a house than to arrest them and or put them in jail is putting people in jail is highly expensive. Uh, and having people, make use of medical care facilities, more often than what would be needed if they actually had a house is pretty expensive as well.
Back in Portland, advocates for people experiencing homelessness asking residents, business owners, and policymakers to focus on the community's shared goals.
We all want the same thing, right? We all don't want to see this suffering on our streets.
We did reach out to Portland's mayor before the vote on this ban. He wasn't available to talk to us. The city does, though, have a plan to create a few centralized camping sites for unhoused people to use as this ban comes into effect in July.
Well, at least they have some legal camping sites for people to go to. That's something. But to make it illegal for them to sleep at a certain part of the day is just evil.